There's a table by the window where the daylight settles slow. Nothing restless in the room now, only things that softly glow. A cup cooling near my fingers, pages open, turned halfway, and the air of early springtime lets the louder thoughts drift away. Outside, branches move in silence, petals rest along the street. No one hurries past the doorway, no sharp rhythm underneath. Everything feels lightly distant, like the world has stepped aside. And this little pause of daylight leaves a quieter state of mind. I don't need a change of weather, I don't need a reason why. Somewhere in the still and simple hour, the noise has lost its side. At a quiet spring table, I can let the whole day breathe. Nothing shines too brightly, nothing asks too much of me. Just the softness of the window, just the calm in porcelain, and the way this small cafe makes the world feel slow again. There's a kindness in the silence, in the way the shadows lean, in the warmth left on the tabletop, in the spaces in between. I have spent so long in motion, missing what was always there. Now the stillness feels familiar, like the room has learned my air. Someone lowers down a curtain just enough to dim the light, and the color of the afternoon turns faint and pale and white. Not a lonely kind of quiet, not an empty kind of peace, more the sort that lets your breathing find a softer, deeper ease. Maybe nothing has to happen, maybe this is all it means. Spring can come without announcement and still change the way you think. At a quiet spring table, I can let the whole day breathe. Nothing moves too quickly, nothing pulls too hard on me. Just the faded gold on wood grain, just the warmth inside a cup, and the hush of one small cafe saying I have done enough. No bright rush, no sudden bloom, only light across the room, only time growing thin, only calm settling in. At a quiet spring table, I can hear the room more clear. Every little thing grows gentler when there's nothing sharp to fear. And the season feels so honest when it enters without sound. In the quiet of this small cafe, something steady can be found. At a quiet spring table, I don't need the day to change, I just need this kind of stillness and the peace it leaves behind. While the air of spring stays tender by the window, soft and plain, I can feel the world grow lighter by becoming slow again. Quiet light, wooden chair, spring arrives and settles there. Spring outside the window, moves without a sound, petals on the pavement, turning slowly round. Nothing in a hurry, nothing trying to stay, only light and little colors passing through the day. Someone walks beneath the branches with their head a little low, and the breeze along the storefront barely asks the leaves to move. Cars go by like distant water, soft and faded in the air, and I sit beside the glass as if the hour has settled there. I've spent so much time looking without really seeing through. Now the world feels less demanding in this quiet, gentle view. Spring outside the window, soft and pale and slow, like a thought that passes lightly without asking where to go. And I watch it from this table with my coffee growing cold, while the day becomes much calmer in the silence that it holds. Blossoms gather near the curbside like they chose that place to rest, and the sky above the buildings has no need to do its best. There is beauty in the faded, in the almost and the near, in the way a simple season can make small things feel more clear. I don't need a brighter morning, I don't need a louder spring. There is peace enough in stillness, in the hush of ordinary things, in a branch against the window, in a shadow on the chair, in a room that keeps its distance and a breeze that enters there. Maybe calm is not an answer, maybe it is just a view, but the world feels less excessive when the light is passing through. Spring outside the window, soft and pale and slow, like the kind of quiet feeling only empty hours know. And I stay here with the silence, letting all the daylight bend, while the street and all its colors move as though they have no end. No bright scene, no sudden bloom, only air across the room, only branches near the glass, only time letting pass. Spring outside the window, still and clear and true, like the world has lowered its voice to show a gentler view. And I don't need to hold it, I don't need to make it mine, just to sit beside this small cafe and let the season pass in time. Spring outside the window with its faded pink and gray leaves a quiet kind of comfort as it slowly moves away. And the more I sit and watch it, the less I need to know, only that the day feels softer when the world is moving slow. By the glass, petals fall, nothing more needed at all. Has not been changed much since I first sat down today. Same cup, same chair, same window, same pale and quiet gray. And yet something in the stillness feels a little more complete, like the air has learned my breathing and the floor has softened underneath. There are pages left half open, there is light upon the grain. There are sounds too small to notice till the room grows still again. Nothing reaches for attention, nothing pulls me out of place. Only time becoming gentler in this worn and quiet space. I used to think that silence was a thing I had to fill. Now it feels enough to stay here and let the hour keep still. Staying in the quiet, I can feel the day grow wide. Not because of anything spoken, just because I'm here inside. With the light upon the table and the calm in everything, there is comfort in the stillness that this little room can bring. Outside the street is moving slowly, but I hardly need to look. There is peace enough around me, in the warmth of wood and books, in the way the shadows gather at the edge of every chair, in the hush between the moments and the spring inside the air. I don't need a change of feeling, I don't need the day to bloom. There is something soft and human in the quiet of this room, like the world has stepped back lightly, just enough to let me see how the smallest kind of stillness can return me back to me. Maybe calm is not a lesson, maybe it is just a place where the heart no longer rushes to keep up with every day. Staying in the quiet, I can let the whole day rest. Nothing asking for an answer, nothing trying to be best. Just the faded spring light falling, just the cup beside my hand, and the way this little cafe helps me finally understand. No bright turn, no grand release, only breath and borrowed peace. Only time, soft and low, only somewhere I don't have to go. Staying in the quiet, I can hear what I had missed. All the little kinds of comfort in a room that asks for less. And the day feels less demanding, and the world feels less severe, while the spring outside keeps breathing and the silence settles here. Staying in the quiet, maybe that is all I need. Not a louder kind of living, just a slower kind of ease. In the hush of one small cafe with the afternoon half through, there is something close to healing in the simple things that do. Wooden chair, cooling cup, spring stays near and holds me up. Under faded light, the room torn soft and thin. Nothing asks for motion, nothing rushes in. Only cups and shadows, only quiet on the wood, and the slow uneven daylight resting where it could. Branches near the window barely seem to sway. Spring is here in silence, not in any brighter way. There's a muted kind of color in the glass and in the floor, like the day is closed halfway and doesn't need much more. I have known the louder hours, how they pull and how they pass, but this pale and quiet feeling stays like breath upon the glass. Under faded light, I can let the whole room blur, not into forgetting, but into something gentler. And the world becomes more distant in a way that feels like rest, while the quiet of this small cafe settles slowly in my chest. Someone turns a page in silence, someone leaves a chair askew. Nothing in the room is empty, nothing in it fully new. There's a softness in the stillness that I could not hear before, like the air has grown more patient near the half-closed door. I don't need a brighter season, I don't need a warmer tone. There is peace enough in dimness when you're left to sit alone. Not a lonely kind of silence, not a sadness I can name, just the hush of spring arriving without asking me to change. Maybe calm is not a feeling, maybe it's a kind of view. When the light grows faint around you, and the world grows faint there too. Under faded light, I can hear the room more clear. Every little sound grows softer when there's nothing sharp to fear. And the day becomes more honest in its pale and quiet way, as the stillness of the small cafe takes the heavier thoughts away. No bright bloom, no sudden gold, only air turning cold, only spring seen through gray, only time letting stay. Under faded light, there is comfort in the dim, in the way the muted daylight leaves the edges soft and thin. And I do not need to follow every thought that used to press, while the quiet of this small cafe teaches me a smaller rest. Under faded light, spring arrives without a sound, not as color, not as music, just as calm that gathers round. And the more the room grows silent, and the less the daylight shows, the more I feel this little hour as somewhere I can slow. Pale window, quiet air, spring stays low and lingers there. There are words that never happened, still they hang between the air, not as something left unfinished, more like something resting there in the room does not disturb them, does not ask for them to move, only keeps them in the silence, like it knows what they could prove. You don't look up from the table, I don't reach to say your name, but the space between the moments doesn't feel like empty space. There's a quiet kind of presence in the way that daylight fades, like the air has learned to carry all the things we never say. I don't need to form a sentence, I don't need to make it clear. Some emotions stay much softer when they're left just as they are here. What stays unsaid doesn't leave, it only slows, like the light upon the surface, like the way the stillness grows. And I don't try to hold it, I don't try to understand, just the calm of something gentle resting somewhere close at hand. There's a shift in how the room feels as the hours start to bend. Not a change that you can point to, not a place where things begin, just the weight of something subtle in the quiet and the near, like a thought that never forms but somehow lingers here. I have known the need for answers, I've chased the need to speak, but this moment asks for nothing, and in that it feels complete. Not a silence made of distance, not a silence made of doubt, more the kind that lets the feeling stay without being found out. Maybe words would only break it, maybe sound would make it small. Some things live within the quiet, better not explained at all. What stays unsaid doesn't vanish, doesn't end, it just settles in the corners of the moments we don't bend. And I leave it where it found me, in the air and in the light, like a quiet kind of closeness that feels easier this way. No clear line, no defined, only space left behind, only breath soft and slow, only things we don't show. Unsaid feels the truest in the room, not because it's ever spoken, but because it doesn't move. And the calm becomes more present, and the world feels less severe, while the quiet of this small cafe lets it stay exactly here. What stays unsaid is enough to let me rest, not a question, not a promise, just a softness in my chest. And I don't need to resolve it, I don't need to make it new, just to sit inside the stillness and let it remain as true. No more words needed now, only this quiet somehow. After the moment nothing really moves. The chair is still beside me. The cup is barely used. There's a trace of something present, but it does not try to stay. Only rests within the silence, like it slowly fades away. Light has thinned across the window, almost gone but not complete. And the room feels like it's holding something fragile underneath. Not a thought I need to follow, not a feeling I can name, just the echo of a presence that is softer now than change. I don't reach to understand it, I don't try to make it clear. Some things leave without departing, some things stay by disappearing. After the moment, there is nothing left to say, only quiet on the surface, only time that drifts away. And I sit without a question, without needing what it meant, just the calm of something passing, leaving almost nothing spent. There's a space where words could happen, but it stays untouched and wide, like the room has learned to carry what we chose to leave inside. And the air does not grow heavier, and the light does not return. Everything just keeps on settling without asking me to learn. I have followed so many feelings to the point they broke apart, but this one just slowly quiets without leaving any mark. Not a loss and not a memory, not a thing I need to hold, just the way a fading moment lets the rest of life grow cold. Maybe this is what remains now when the need to speak is gone, when the heart stops trying to shape it and just lets it drift along. After the moment, there is only softer air, not a silence made of absence, but a silence resting there. And I don't try to define it, I don't ask it to return, just the ease of something leaving without anything to learn. No return, no regret, only space left unmet, only time falling through, only less left to do. After the moment, there is stillness I can keep, not a memory to carry, not a promise buried deep. And the room becomes much wider, and the light becomes less known, while the quiet of this small cafe feels like something I have grown. After the moment, I can finally let it be, not a story, not a meaning, just a quiet part of me. And the more the day dissolves here, and the less I try to see, the more I feel this kind of stillness as the only place to be. No more words, no more sound, only this settling down. There's a chant I almost miss now, in the way the room feels light, Not a shift that breaks the silence, just a breath that moves it right. And the air across the table feels a little less confined, like the space between the moments has been opened just in time. Nothing here begins or finishes, nothing here demands a turn. Still the stillness grows more gentle as the edges start to blur. And I feel my thoughts grow looser, not so tight within my chest, like the quiet is not holding, but allowing me to rest. I don't need to chase the feeling, I don't need to make it stay. Somewhere in this soft and open air, it moves its own small way. Let the air move, let it pass through everything. Not to change the silence, just to loosen what it brings. And the room becomes much easier when I stop holding on to the shape of every moment that was never meant to last long. There's a softness in the doorway, in the way the curtain lifts, in the barely there reflections of the smallest passing shifts. And I don't need to follow them, I don't need to understand, only feel the calm around me like it's placed within my hands. I have held too many moments like they needed to remain, but the air keeps moving slowly through the quiet all the same. And the more I let it carry what I thought I had to keep, the more something in my breathing starts to settle into ease. Maybe calm is not a stillness, maybe calm is letting through all the gentle kinds of changes that the silence always knew. Let the air move, let it soften what I keep, not to take it from me, just to make it easier to breathe. And the weight becomes much lighter, not because it disappears, but because I stop resisting how it shifts throughout the years. No clear start, no clear end, only space that can bend, only time passing slow, only air letting go. Let the air move through the quiet of the room, through the fading of the daylight, through the calm of early gloom. And I don't need to stop it, I don't need to hold it still. There is peace in letting motion do what silence never will. Let the air move, let it carry what it may, not as loss and not as leaving, just the softest kind of change. In this small and patient cafe where the hours gently fall, I can feel the quiet shifting and not fear it anymore. Soft as change moving through, nothing lost, nothing new. When the room settles, everything feels placed, nothing out of order, nothing out of pace. And the light upon the table doesn't try to stay or go, it just fades into the quiet at a pace the room can hold. Chairs are left in easy angles, cups are cooled and left behind. There's a calm in how the hours stop asking for their time, not a pause that needs to linger, not a break that needs to end, just a quiet form of balance that the evening slowly sends. I don't need to hold the moment, I don't need to make it mine. There's comfort in the rhythm of a day that unwinds. When the room settles, I can feel the weight grow light, not because it disappears, but because it sits just right. And the air becomes more even, and the noise becomes less clear, and the calm of something simple finally resting here. Outside, shadows stretch a little across the quiet street, and the world no longer presses every second at my feet. There is space inside the silence that no longer feels too wide, like the room has found its center and I'm somewhere there inside. I have tried to chase the meaning of the way the hours move. Now I let them pass beside me without asking for their truth. And the more I stop resisting every shift I cannot see, the more something in the stillness feels exactly right for me. Maybe this is all it needed, not a change but just a fall into something more familiar, where there's nothing left to call. When the room settles, everything becomes enough, not in something I can measure, not in anything too much, just the way the quiet holds me without asking me to stay, in the balance of a moment that is already okay. No more push, no more pull, only calm, growing full, only time, soft and near, only space, settled here. When the room settles, I don't need to look ahead, I don't need to keep the daylight, I don't need the words unsaid. Everything is where it should be, nothing more I need to move. In the quiet of this small cafe, there is nothing left to prove. When the room settles, I can feel the day release, not as ending, not as leaving, just a quiet kind of peace. And the more the light grows distant, and the more the air stands still, I can feel this kind of calmness as something I can keep. A soft decline, even air, day rests low and stays there. Before it turns night, the light is almost gone, not in any sudden way, just slowly moving on. And the room feels even quieter than it did before, like it knows there's nothing left to be waiting for. There's a softness in the fading, in the way the colors fall, not into something darker, just into something small. And the air no longer carries any weight I used to feel, only space and something gentle that I don't need to reveal. I don't try to hold the moment, I don't ask it to remain. Somewhere in the quiet leaving, there is nothing left to explain. Before it turns night, everything grows still, not because it has to, but because it always will. And I sit inside the fading without needing more, just just the calm of something ending without closing any door. There are shapes without their edges. There are sounds that barely stay. There is nothing in the silence that could pull me away. And I don't need to follow where the daylight disappears. There is peace in letting go of all the small remaining fears. I have held on to so many passing hours in the day. Now I let this one be simple as it quietly fades away. Not a memory I'm keeping, not a feeling I will miss. Just the space that comes so easily when it ends like this. Maybe nothing needs to linger, maybe nothing needs to stay. Some things end without a reason and still leave a softer way. Before it turns night, everything is already gone. Not in loss and not in silence, just in moving gently on. And I don't need to follow it, I don't need to understand. Only sit inside the quiet as it slips from where I stand. No more light, no more sound, only calm settling down. Only time letting go, only less left to know. Before it turns night, there is nothing left to keep. Not a thought I need to carry, not a promise buried deep. And the room becomes much wider as the last of light withdraws, leaving only quiet breathing without needing any cause. Before it turns night, I can feel the day release. Not as ending, not as fading, just a quiet form of peace. And the more the dark approaches, and the less the light remains, I can feel this kind of stillness as the only thing that stays. Last light, soft decline, nothing more before night. After the lights go out, the room becomes less clear. Not in any lonely way, just quieter than here. Chairs remain in silence, cups are left to dry, and the last of day has already passed into the sky. Nothing asked for staying, nothing asked to leave. Only air and empty tables, only time to breathe. There is no more shape to follow, no more meaning left to find. Just the quiet of a small room, growing wider in my mind. I don't need to keep the feeling, I don't need to make it last. Some things fade the way they should by slowly letting pass. After the lights go soft, everything is low and still. Not because the world has ended, just because it always will. And I let the silence take me where the day no longer goes. In the hush of one small cafe, After the lights go soft, there's a trace upon the tabletop where the warmth used to remain. There's a pale and distant shadow on the edge of window frames. Nothing in it feels unfinished, nothing in it asks for more. Only quiet settling deeper than the hour before. I have tried to leave with answers, I have tried to hold the day. Now I let this final stillness take the need for that away. Not as loss and not as closure, not as something I must keep, just a softness with no language, falling gently into sleep. Maybe peace is just this moment, when there's nothing left to prove, when the room and all its silence no longer need to move. After the lights go soft, everything becomes enough. Not in memory, not in meaning, just in quiet calm and dusk. And I don't need to follow where the final shadows fall, only stay inside the stillness till it feels like nothing at all. No last line, no goodbye, only dark and softened light, only air and wooden floor, only less and nothing more. After the lights go soft, there is almost nothing left, just the room, the fading silence, and the shape of gentle rest, and the spring that moves so quietly through the window all day long, leaves behind no grand impression, only where the calm belongs. After the lights go soft, I can let the whole day go, not as sorrow, not as longing, just as something small and slow. In the quiet of this last hour, there is nothing I need from it, only one small cafe breathing as the rest of light grows dim. Lights go soft, voices end, spring stays near, then thins again.